Whether you're just one person who wants to do some phone banking on your own, or if you're a team leader who wants to phone bank across several states, the tutorial we're about to give you now is going to help you out a whole lot. You can do some great phone banking from NationBuilder, and here's where we show you how to do it. Okay, we're going to do a phone bank. So when we're phone banking, we're calling people. So I've already clicked on the People tab here, and we're going to set up a filter to find the people that we want to call. There's over 2 million people on the system, and I don't want to call 2 million people this morning, so we're going to have to cut that list down considerably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the funnel icon, which will help me create a filter. I'm going to click on the funnel icon, and then I'm going to add a criteria, and the first criteria that I'm going to add is by address. I'm going to click on address here, and I'm going to say that I want to search by address city. And I'm going to type in the name of my city. I live in Alhambra, California. So I'm typing in Alhambra. Now I happen to know that there's Alhambra, a city of Alhambra in other states as well. So I'm going to add another group row, and this time I'm going to add by address again, but this time I'm going to select state. I'm going to specify the state I want, which is California. And there's, I'm just typing in part of it. I come up with a drop down with only one selection. That way I don't misspell it. That'll help keep me from writing a bad filter. Now, I know there's a lot of people on the system that don't have telephone numbers, so I shouldn't even have to look at those, not even once. So I'm going to add one more element to my filter here, and this time I'm going to go by phone number, and I'm going to say I want only people who are callable. So there we go. I've got my filter constructed, and it's for Alhambra, California, and everybody who's callable. So I'm going to click on filter. I'm going to run that filter. And I misspelled Alhambra. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so let's spell it right. Click on filter there. Stand by. Sometimes it does take a little while. And it's going to come here, and right here it's going to tell me the total that it found. Give it just a moment here. And it found 23 people. So that sounds like a reasonable number, and I know they've all got phone numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all these people to a list. So I click on Actions, and I select Add All to List, and I've already made a list called Alhambra, California. There we go. You will see that I've got that list there. So I'm going to add everybody to that list. My other alternative would be to create a new list and just put in a new list name here, like California, Alhambra. And I could do it that way. And click Create the List. And it tells me people are being added to the list, and people were added to that list. And there I can click on the list and go find it. I'm going to go ahead and go to my other list here. Stand by. Okay, I just took a break, and now I'm coming back. I'm going to work the rest of my list, and I made about 20 calls, and I'm going to finish up my calling and show you what I'm doing. So I need to come back to my list. And you recall when I ran the filter, I actually saved my filter results to 2 different lists. So I'm going to go back to the one I've been working. I'm going to click on Lists, and then I'm going to type in part of the name of the list, and I get 2 choices here. I'm going to select the one that has 3 left in it because I've already called 20 of the people. So I'm selecting the list that I've been working on, And there's the Alhambra, California list. Now, when I'm doing a phone bank, I want to click call view. I can click to map view, and I can see all these people on a map. I can go to data entry view. We're looking at overview by default, but I want to go to call view. And so I'm going to click on call view here. And this is our phone bank view of the list that I've been calling. So the next person on the list is me. So I don't need to call me, but I want to show you a little bit here. When I scroll down a little bit, this is the disposition screen of what we're doing with this call. So I'm not going to call me, but I don't want to click skip and remove from list, because I did look at this record and I did consider calling this person, but I didn't. But I want my boss to know about my activity because it's keeping records of everybody that I'm contacting. So I'm going to simply type in here, did not call, it's me, and click a disposition of other, and I'm going to log the call and remove it from the list. Right here I'm getting ready to click this yellow button here, log the call and remove from the list. So there we go. I'm removing me from the list, and now we have the next person to call, Bubba Baggins in Alhambra, California. So there's a lot of different reasons to be doing a phone bank. We could be talking to other volunteers. We could be polling people just to see who they intend to vote for. We could be doing a persuasion call. We could be telling people about an event and getting RSVPs. So for here at the top, for contact type, I'm just going to put in this is a generic contact. But as you can see, I've got a lot of different choices there. In this system, we have quite a few different choices, but I'm just going to go for a generic contact for right now. Now, also, there's some other dispositions right below down here. Now, one thing I could do is I could simply type in a note, and this would be a private note. Another thing I could do is simply log the call, and I could say that we had a meaningful interaction, or if I left voicemail, I could say I left a message, no answer, or they're not interested, they wouldn't talk to me, or they refused the call, or they wanted us to send more information, and so forth. You want to carefully record the actual status of the call, because if it's something like send information, then we have ways to pull this up as a list, and then somebody else can get that information out to the person and probably do it as a large group of people, and they're sending information out to everybody. So I can simply log the call. I can record an RSVP if I'm calling about an event, and I would choose the event from the drop-down list here. And then if they said I'm bringing 2 people with me, you could type in the number of additional guests and click the button there to record the RSVP. We could also be calling for fundraising, which means I'd be calling for a pledge or a donation. I could click on pledge here and say, well, they pledged $25. Your supervisor who started you on this project would have given you the tracking code to use for this phone bank. And of course, the fundraiser would be yourself. You would be the fundraiser, and then you would get credit for having raised these funds. And then finally, when we're finished recording the pledge, when we've had the conversation, we'll click the yellow button there to record the pledge and remove the person from the list. Now, we might actually be calling for active donations. In other words, we're going to record a donation right now on the telephone. And if we were going to do that, we would click on donation. And the first thing we want to make sure is that we've got a email address recorded for this person, and that we have a zip code recorded for them. We've got to have a zip code because sometimes the credit card transaction will not go through without a zip code. We also need to have an employer and occupation. That's required by the Federal Election Commission. So we need to record their employer and their occupation. And then it'll be a little bit different here, but I'm going to change this to authorize.net, and then we can simply record their credit card number here, right here. And set the expiration date. Type in the card verification code, which is a security code from the back. and then we could simply click pay donation, and that will process their credit card transaction right there on the spot for the donation. If it's declined, you'd be able to tell them it was declined. Could you give me a different credit card number? Or what have you. So we can also do direct donations. In this case, we're not going to do a donation. We're just going to have a phone conversation. So I'm going to switch back to log call. And if you recall, this is what we saw when we first came in to this screen. And so in this case, I had a meaningful interaction with Bubba Baggins, and he's a hardworking volunteer, and I'm just going to record that. And then I will click to log the call and remove this person from the list. So now there's only one more person to call on this long list of 23 people that I had been calling, and that's Buddy Biggins in Alhambra, California. So I dial the phone. I talk to Buddy, and Buddy wants more information. So all I have to do there is click send information. Let me show you a couple other things real quick. If we need to follow up with Buddy, we can click follow up right here. Click the date and set a date for a follow-up. In other words, I may want to follow up with him on Monday. I can set the follow-up type and just have a question for him on Monday and set the follow-up, and then you'll see that the follow-up is indicated there. And I can also set his support level, and he is a strong supporter, but he wants more information on a couple of issues, and then I'll simply log the call and remove him from the list. And now we're all done with the phone bank for the people that we had on that list.